All right, welcome back to WMAC Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with a pair of fight announcements out of One Championship. So One Championship Bad Blood is scheduled for Friday, February 11th in Singapore. And to this star-studded fight card, they have added a pair of One Atomweight bouts to be scheduled at the One Atomweight limit of 115 pounds. First bout they have added features Lin Heqin taking on Nguyen. I'll tell you what, this should be an absolutely action-packed bout. I imagine that these two ladies are going to spend the majority of the bout on their feet, just absolutely duking it out, because both love to just stand and trade. Taking a look at the stats for this one, the fighting sister, Lin Heqin, coming in at 14-3-1. Killer B coming in at 6-7. Now, Lin is coming off a loss to Ritu Phogat 5 months ago. Before that, she had quite a winning streak going. I believe over 10 fights dating back to 2017. That was, however, her first fight for One Champion. That was actually her first fight in 2 years. Nguyen, on the other hand, she is coming off of a decision loss to Jenelyn Olsim in one about 4 months ago. Before that was her split decision win over Ritu Phogat. So both of these fighters have a recent common opponent in Ritu Phogat. Nguyen is the elder fighter, 32-28 for Lin. Lin will be the taller fighter by a sizable amount. 5 feet 6 inches, 167 centimeters. To 4 feet 11 inches, 150 centimeters. No surprise that B is the shorter fighter here. She is in most of her fights. Like I said, this should be a fun, action-packed bout. I imagine that most of it is going to stay on the feet. I would say that B would have the better ground game than Lin from what I've seen. But if you've seen B fight, you know she's going to want to stand and trade. B is what you call, a TV fighter. You want to watch her fights because she's going to bring it every time. That's why she's a fan favorite and so popular in One Championship, in spite of, her upside-down record. You know that when B. Nguyen is going to step into the ring or the circle cage, that there is going to be an action-packed bout. That's just how she fights. For Lin Heqin, she's a pretty good striker too. If I remember correctly, she comes from a Sandow background and has a lot of TKO wins to her name. In fact, I don't think she has any. She only has one submission win to her name, and that was against Jo Marie Torres in one back in 2019. But most of her wins are split between decisions and striking. So I expect this one to be a pretty fun striking battle. The other fight on that card in the same One Atomweight class is going to be between Jenelyn Olsim and Jihin Radzuwan. Now, this fight was originally scheduled to take place at, let me see here, I believe Winter Warriors. No, not Winter Warriors. Excuse me. At One Championship Next Gen. This was to be an alternate bout in the One Atomweight Grand Prix. Unfortunately, a fighter had to drop out of the Grand Prix, and Olsim got promoted into the Grand Prix. Fortunately for her, she didn't make it, didn't win that bout, but they have instead rescheduled this bout. So I think it should be a good one. Definitely going to answer some questions about each of these fighters. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats for this one. So Olsim is coming in at 5-3. Shadowcat coming in at 6-2. Olsim's coming off of the loss to Ritu Phogat at One Next Gen. That was back in, I believe, November. Before that was riding a 2-fight run against Maya Mazar and then B. Nguyen. Shadowcat hasn't fought in a while. Now, she is coming off of a win over B. Nguyen, so these two have a shared opponent between them. Before that, Radzuan had lost to Denise Zamboanga, and that was 2 years ago. So she's had one fight in the last 2 years. Let's see. I believe they are the same age. Jenelyn Olsim is listed on Tapology at 25, and I believe the one app has Radzuan listed at the same age as well. Looks like Olsim is the taller fighter, just slightly, 5 feet 3 inches, 161 centimeters, to 5 feet 2 inches, 157 centimeters for Radzuwan. The big question coming into this fight is going to be how much the inactivity has affected Radzuan, because in the past 2 years she's had one fight, whereas Olsim has had 3, and she's had honestly 3 fights within the last calendar year as well, all within 10 months. So she's definitely been the more active fighter. I was pretty impressed by Olsim's fight against Ritu Phogat. She showed a lot of really good composure. She showed some power in her hands. She stunned Phogat at one point and stopped her in her tracks. Unfortunately, she didn't capitalize on it. But she also showed a pretty good ground game too. She was able to keep guard against Phogat. For Radzuan, like I said, it's a big question. She just hasn't been as active. She was a rising star for one championship, and then, she split some wins lost some losses between Gina Iniong and Denise Zamboanga. Had a win over Jo Marie Torres in between that. And then, COVID hit in 2020. She came back, got one fight against B. Nguyen a year ago, but has been inactive again since then. But before that, she was a popular rising prospect in one championship, and very well still could be. It just depends. I'm not sure how it's gonna look for her. One thing I will do though is before the fight happens, I'm gonna go back and look at each of their fights, their wins over B. Nguyen, and see what I can draw from that, because they both beat her by decision. Anyway, those are my thoughts for these 2 ladies' bouts. They're going to go down at One Championship Bad Blood. That is scheduled for February 11th in Singapore. Looking forward to both of these. I think they're going to be very fun bouts. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on them in the comments down below. If you liked the video, please give it a like, share it as well. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to WMMAC Now, the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.